Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yapisode 14 of It's Not You, It's Me podcast. I am your host, DS Choi, and today, I don't know, maybe it's something a little different. I'm going to share a little bit about what happened. Suspense aside, basically, maybe I'm making it dramatic. One of my nightmares kind of came to life. I don't know how to describe that better. Basically, I have a recurring dream. It's not really, I don't know if it's a nightmare, but it's kind of an anxious dream. So, what happens? The theme is getting lost somewhere I don't know and having to find my way home. And so this has appeared in different ways. One of the crazy ones was like I was in an intergalactic space war and I was fighting on a different planet and the war was over. But like I'm one of like the survivors of a battle and I didn't know how to get home. And like basically I had to figure that out. That's like one example. Another one is like maybe I'm on a field trip and I can't get back to the bus on time and the bus leaves without me. Maybe I'm at a conference and in a state that I don't know, but I know where the conference is, but it's just kind of like I missed my plane or something. And so I have to figure out how to get home. Like, do I rent a car and drive? Like, another one that's been crazy was I was in a foreign country. I don't speak the language and I have to use body language and gestures to try to figure out how to go home. And so this recurring theme of a dream where I have to go home from a place I am unfamiliar with kind of happened in real life, basically. So I was dropping off my car at my mechanic, and it was my impression that it would take about 2 hours. So I was just gonna drop it off and wait there because I had to schedule an appointment to get that done, and so they charged me for basically an hour and a half of labor. And so my house was like, but let's give it about 2 hours, right? I'm just gonna sit there and wait. And what happened was they're just like, okay, we'll see you. We'll call you when we're done. I was just like, uh, could I? How long is it gonna take? And they're just like, it takes several hours to do this fix, and then we have to make sure that everything has been done properly, which can take another 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. And so we'll just call you when we're done. So I'm just like, inside, I'm like, oh no, but outside, I'm like, okay. And I walk out the office, and I just walk towards the direction of home. Home was honestly not that far. According to Google Maps, it was about 6.5 miles. And so I just started walking in the direction of home. And I told myself, at worst, I will walk. And basically, the reason I was choosing to walk was because I didn't want to pay for an Uber home. I'm being very frugal. So I was like, all right, let's see how long walking home takes from here. That was one of my thoughts. And another thought of me was just like, all right, I live close to campus, and campus has a bus system, and there is a bus that takes from campus to my neighborhood. And so I was just like, all right, how long would it take to walk to a bus stop that will take me to campus so I can take another bus to go to back to my neighborhood? And turns out it's crazy. Kudos to my city and the bus system here. But there was a bus like kind of like relatively close to that place. It was like literally like 2 blocks away from this mechanic. And the bus ride would be about 20 minutes from campus. And so the next bus was coming in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And so I wait at that bus stop and I managed to get to campus. And from campus, I swap onto another bus to get home. And it's been a long time since I've taken the bus because I've had a car on campus since, I mean, I took the bus all around during undergrad. And grad school, it really depends because it depends on whether I was working at lab or not. But basically, I've had a car since I was a junior in college in town. And so I didn't really need to take the bus anywhere if I could just take my car, right? So I was waiting 20 minutes for the bus. I get 20 minutes to campus and then another 20 minutes from the bus I transferred to get home. So all in all, it was about an hour. When I get home, I'm just chilling. And right around 11:50, 11:45 is when I get a call. I get a call and the mechanic's like, "Oh, your car's done. You can pick it up whenever." I'm just like, I felt like I just got home. And so I was just like, "Oh no, I have to go out again." And I had a meeting, I had a Zoom meeting with my mentor coach at 2 p.m. And so I was just like, "All right, will there be matching times to the bus to get me back to the same place?" And so I look it up. And if I were to leave, the next bus would come at 12:15. If I take that bus, wait at the bus stop to the transfer, I would get there by the same bus stop by the mechanic by 1:15. So I was just like, all right, if I get there by 1:15, I can drive home, I can try to eat something for lunch, and then I can have my mentor meeting. And so I go outside, and I guess it's a small caveat to the story. It's kind of like I'm on like autopilot. There's so much uncertainty of like I'm not used to this experience of riding the bus, especially from off campus to on campus from where I live. But it was extremely convenient. I was like, wow, if I didn't have a car, I'd be very comfortable still living and traveling around town outside of campus. Campus is very easy to travel around, but outside of town, I was just like, wow, this is like such a decent experience. And so there's an overlap with the bus I transferred to. I actually get off at the bus stop where I transferred to get home. But so basically, I got off the bus early, and I'm just like, oh, I should have gotten off later and waited at a more comfortable spot. Fortunately, the weather was really nice. It's kind of chilly, but it was nice enough in which I was just like, all right, I have about 20 minutes, 25 minutes before the bus I need to take transfer. So let me walk across campus to the bus stop I was supposed to go to because it was close enough. And so I spent the 20 minutes just taking a nice stroll and a walk. And I thought to myself, being such a homebody, I was just like, it's been a very long time since I've just walked for pleasure, quote unquote pleasure. I guess it's not necessarily pleasure. It was just, but I had the time to leisurely stroll. And I thought to myself, looking around town, look around campus, I was like, such a nice day. This is not so bad. Maybe I should do more of this. And I know I won't do more of this. And so I get to the bus stop on campus, and yeah, I get on the bus, and I found myself just enjoying, I don't know how to describe the silence. I was just literally just watching the, like, how do you describe it? Watching outside through the window and just enjoying the ride. And I wasn't really even thinking about much. And I thought to myself again, similar to walking, I'm just like, it's been a long time since I've kind of like sat in silence doing nothing, but also just enjoying, I don't know if enjoying nature is the right way to say it, but it's just like just watching the world go by in a very like relaxed like state. And I was just like, oh, I haven't really done this in a long time, especially in a day and age where I'm typically in front of a computer, or I definitely have my phone on me. And so if typically when we're bored, we'll just look at our phone and peruse stuff. I read a lot. And so whether it's articles or Reddit posts, I'm spending time always typically consuming content of some form, whether it's entertainment or information. I'm typically not letting my brain like rest, if that makes sense, like rest in silence. And I was like, oh, maybe this was a much needed reminder of just learning how to enjoy the present. Because I was gonna work on the bus. I like as while I was waiting at the mechanic, my plan was to work on this relationship coaching workshop thing that I was building. And on the bus, I was like, all right, let's spend some time doing it here. But anyway, I get to my mechanic. I tell them the whole story. I'm just like, oh, like I live here, and they're like, I'm so sorry. The mechanic told me they're so sorry because they didn't know when it would be done, but they also didn't know my situation of where I would have to go. But either way, it all worked out. Got my car, rushed home, made lunch, ate lunch. I gobbled it down, and then I had a wonderful mentor a coaching meeting. Oh, I mean, so I don't know if I made the connection very well, but basically, I thought to myself when I left right outside the mechanic, the first thing that came to mind was I am basically living my nightmare, though not in such extreme circumstances. I am in an unfamiliar place without my car. I know the town well enough to know where I am, and clearly I still have my phone and Google Maps, and so I got home and I made it, and all was well with the world. Though in my dreams I have never made it home, not because I died or anything, but because just simply I woke up before journey's end. And so I just wanted to share that story. I don't know what compelled me to share it, but it's a very interesting experience to feel that one of my recurring anxious dreams of not finding my way home and being lost is kind of reflected in real life. Some trivia that I know, because I've looked up some, like, considering it was a recurring dream, I've looked it up. I've looked it up online. What does kind of like being lost? What does that mean in your dream? And I call it an anxious dream because it often reflects how you are not in control. Like you are put in a situation that you have no control over and you have to deal with it. You have to figure it out. And so, this idea about being lost and figuring out where you need to go, that's a form of your feeling of anxiousness in the world of lacking control of what's happening to you, if that makes sense. Or like you're in a situation that you don't want or enjoy. And I was just like, oh, That's very interesting. And I'm trying to remember all the situations in which I had this dream and what kind of anxiety that I was dealing with in real life. And I would definitely say that as I had a lot of these dreams, not a lot, a lot. It's not like a every day, every night kind of thing. But if it pops up, it's often enough. It's like, oh, I had another getting lost kind of dream. It was definitely during my grad school days in which I felt that I wasn't doing well. Research was not easy. Writing papers was not easy. Unsure about a lot of things about my future, what I wanted to do. I definitely knew being a research professor was not what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's where the dream came from. But uh, where do I want to go with this? Nothing really. I just want to share the story. I wish if maybe I'll get AI to do this. We'll see if I can get AI to do any sort of animation or something. I wish I knew how to. I mean, I don't know if I want to be in the graphic design animation industry, but I've thought about it. I'm a terrible artist, and so it would never. I was gonna say never work, but I don't know if never. You probably shouldn't say never. It's just one of those things where I don't think I would do so well. But either way, if this ever, I don't know. I don't even know if I'll release this, but if this is ever released, it will be a short episode, I guess. I don't. Even, I probably have to redo the intro to make sure that the title is correct. Maybe I should just say it's a short story, a episode of a short story. Either way, that's it. That's all I have to share. Just wanted to share that crazy experience that I had. Anyways, I'd be happy to hear if you would share with me some of any recurring dreams that you've had. Any because I have so many other archetypes of dreams. Maybe I'll share that later. I still remember the stuff from childhood. Oh man, there's reoccurring landscapes and then reoccurring fears. Like there's a story about a bear, like wild bears. And I was always like, as a kid, I remember having this dream as a kid about being afraid of getting eaten. Maybe I'll share the story more later. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening to this silly story. Catch you next time. Bye bye.